me clearly. America is not a racist country.
The Antioch Police Department out in California is under investigation for racist text messages between 24 cops. This is a reflection of policing across all of America. I have a couple of videos that I want to show you. Let's start with the first one.
I'm Alex Savage.
And I'm Heather Holmes. KTV's Evan Sarnofsky joins us now live at the Antioch Police Headquarters with more on this. Evan.
Yeah, Alex, Heather, we spoke to the mayor this afternoon and got his reaction on that racist texting scandal. We also got his reaction and some words about that outburst last night. He said that happened because racism, fighting racism, isn't always pretty.
You want to go outside right now? Let's go. I am sick and tired of being attacked by these people in this community, apologizing for the racism that is going on in this community.
Antioch Mayor Lamar Thorpe didn't hold back at Tuesday night's city council meeting. It came after revelations about a racist texting scandal involving 24 members of the city's police department.
Very, very disturbing, very disappointing, very angering.
The city's police force has been under investigation by the FBI for months related to various possible crimes. But new text messages revealed this week show at least 24 officers involved in a text chain, espousing racist views, admitting to targeting minorities, and discussing attacking the mayor himself. Thorpe said he erupted Tuesday following accusations directed at him.
You want audits? Let's get an audit of your text messages.
Let's get it.
It's not just the police department that provides cover for people like this who are on these text messages. There are residents in this community who will put up a fight to protect the culture that exists in that department.
The East Bay Times broke the story on the latest details in the texts, which were provided to the district attorney and the public defender.
And there were, racist comments made to superiors, to sergeants, to people in the internal affairs, with no repercussions for the officers that were saying the things.
And the text messages are despicable, they're abhorrent.
Ellen McDonnell is chief public defender in Contra Costa County. Her office received copies of the text messages, which she said could affect thousands of cases involving the officers.
There are admissions of pursuing and brutalizing and targeting Black and brown members of the community in Antioch. And it's clear that this is deeply entrenched in the culture there.
Now, Heather, we reached out to the attorney representing some of these officers. He didn't immediately get back to us. Now, the city council will take up some of these issues, including the police department's hiring practices and internal affairs practices, at a special session next week. Reporting live in Antioch, Evan Sarnofsky, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Well, you can really see just how emotional all of this is, especially for the mayor. So what's next in this investigation, Evan?
That's right. Well, there's the criminal investigation that we know there's some grand juries impaneled on. We're expecting some charges potentially in the coming weeks. And then, of course, there's a whole administrative side to this that's even further complicated because, as we've learned, some of the Internal Affairs Bureau is actually privy to this and involved in this racist texting scandal. Heather?
All right, 2 parallel investigations underway. Evan, thank you.
And so between 24 cops for the last couple of years have been heavily sending text messages back and forth to each other, all kinds of derogatory things about Black people, all kinds of derogatory things about the Black mayor there. And, like I said, this is how policing is done in America. They like this culture until it impacts them folks. When it start impacting them, that's the only time they'll come out of their face to tell you that the police ain't no good. But as long as the attack is on us, it's all good to them. I have a second video I'm going to show you, and I'll be right back for my final commentary.
Story tonight at 5:30. Police officers, of course, are meant to protect our communities, but today more than a dozen officers in Antioch were named in a scandal that involves racially charged text messages.
And many of those messages are about the very people the police are supposed to protect. Ground 4's Hazik Medyoun obtained the disturbing report and has details.
The investigative report that contains racially explicit text messages between Antioch police officers is shocking, even for civil rights attorney John Burris, who says when it comes to police corruption in the Bay Area, he thought he has seen it all until now.
I've seen a lot, but even Oakland was not this bad. And it was stuff, but it wasn't as racially derogatory as this.
The language and photographs are so abhorrent in this 21-page report, we cannot show most of it on TV. Here's a look at some of the dozens of text messages in the report. I am only stopping them because they black. That same officer writes, it doesn't matter, some gorilla killed another gorilla. On page 19, you see actual photographs of gorillas sent between the officers. Page 10, Sergeant Evans sends this reply. That's right after she called me a racist cop. 1 minute later, he texts, I never said I took offense to it. On page 11, you find Officer Anabnit texting, but we kill more Mexicans than anything else, so blacks can feel safe. Then there's a photo that I can't show you of George Floyd with a naked African-American man sitting on his neck.
And not one officer wrote back and said, hey man, you should stop this. Well, I don't mean that, I don't think this is good. We shouldn't act this way. It's unbecoming an officer.
Burris represented the underage victim in the 2016 Oakland police sex scandal. He's also one of the attorneys who won the civil rights lawsuit against the Oakland Police Department in the infamous Riders case. That one led to OPD losing the right to manage its own department, instead languishing under the authority of a federal monitor for the past 20 years. He says these text messages reveal Antioch PD is also a candidate for federal oversight.
Well, they certainly are a candidate because the conduct that they engaged in is pretty consistent with other departments that I have read who are under federal oversight.
The 14 officers involved in sending the text messages are among at least 24 Antioch cops who either quit or are on admin leave because of a joint Antioch police misconduct probe by the FBI and the Contra Costa District Attorney's Office. Hazik Medyoun, Crown 4 News.
As you can see, they referred to black people in the text messages as gorillas. But we're supposed to accept this policing for our neighborhoods. This is what we're supposed to accept. Y'all can go kick rocks. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been one hell of a revealing of the Antioch Police Department, aka U.S. Police. So there are documents at the DA's office in Contra Costa County, and this is California, y'all. You know, so much for racism being the worst in the South. It's the worst all over the country. So they said it is a long, long list of these racist text messages from members of the Antioch Police Department. The text messages are it got all kinds of racist slurs. The officers comparing black people to gorillas and water buffaloes. So the reported documents, they said, are very derogatory and sexually explicit language, which I'm not surprised. The vast majority of it is towards African Americans. And they said it's a 21-page report, altogether 24 officers. But it was heavily done by 14 officers. Sergeant Josh Evans, Sergeant Rick Hoffman, Officer Jonathan Adams, Officer Morteza Amiri, Officer Scott Duggan, Officer Robert Gerber, Officer Aaron Hughes, Officer Brayton Milner, Officer Calvin Prieto, Officer John Ramirez, Officer Andrea Rodriguez, Officer Eric Bombaro, Officer Kyle Smith and Officer Devin Winger. And notice the Latino names up in there. Yeah. So, I mean, we are talking California. So, anyway, the story highlights the racist speech by officers. This is in the court documents, and there are many incidents, they said, mentioned. And this is by Cron 4, the last video that you saw. So they said it was heavily, and multiple times they used the N word in these text messages. They used phrase like hashtag donkey N word, panhandling N word, dead N word. All this is American classic 101 policing. And it has gone on for so long in this country. That's why these officers felt so empowered to just send these text messages all over the place. So there's all kinds of animal comparisons to black people. Bro, the circus is in town, or the monkeys, and all that kind of stuff. So, y'all, this is one of many police departments in America. I would say it's the vast majority of them out here. This misconduct is nothing new. We have seen it so many times before. But like I said, policing is all good in America until one of them folks get caught up in it. And then all of a sudden, you'll see a whole herd of them come online to talk about how awful the cops are. We don't need fair weather support. So, y'all, you're going to have to tell me what you think about this video. This thing is really deep, but we've seen it all before. And people are getting tired of pouring their tax dollars in for this kind of policing. If anything, as far as I'm concerned, with reparations, you need to refund every dime of black men, women, taxpayer dollars back to us, because you haven't done not one single job for us in education or policing. You're robbing us blind. Give us our money back. Refund that taxpayer money back that you did not earn. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. And they need to reevaluate every single case these 24 cops handled in regarding the black community there. And maybe these charges need to all be reversed. You can't trust policing from folks like this, just like you can't trust it from all over this country. Peace, family.